Alright, round 2. We are on the draw. Ugh. Man. Best of luck. You too. Exclamation point. Well, let's be friendly. Man, do I mulligan this? I mean, I think we keep. We've got the best card, maybe in the format. Definitely the best card in our deck. We've got plenty of stuff to draw early on. I'm going to keep this. It might be wrong, especially because of the scry rule. Mulliganing is just so much. Oh boy. Oh boy. Not that that's going to beat us down super hard, and we've got a spontaneous mutation at some point, but yikes. Because if he plays a 2-drop here, and then we're taking 3 a turn for the foreseeable future, that's pretty gross. Alright, well, we dodged the 2-drop. That was really not a good couple of draws. Yeah, and I guess the problem is that if we're this far behind, the Niblis of Frost, while still really good, is not going to just sweep across and kill him the way it would if we had made some drops. Alright. 2-mana, 1-power guy on his turn 3 is not the scariest thing in the world. Okay, a blocker. And, most importantly, blocker that kills Vampire Cutthroat. This is so much better than a 2-2 here. Like, a 2-2 could not safely block Sanguinary Mage and could not block Vampire Cutthroat at all. This was really kind of a perfect draw, although a turn earlier would have been great. Geist of the Archives would have been the perfect draw, that's true. But I'm happy to have Wailing Ghoul. Sure, we can force him to use a pump spell. That's fine. He's got to spend his whole turn doing that. I really don't mind that. And then I think we want to play Lab Root here. Definitely play Island, because the next turn we can play Niblis of Frost with a Spontaneous Mutation that will probably shut down. I mean, Spontaneous Mutation is about to give a guy -7, -0. Basically just Swords to Plowshares. And what do we get? Not quite Delirium, Artifact, Creature, and Land. But Brute should be pretty good here. I mean, just, he can't attack with Sanguinary Mage, unless he has a, you know, a relatively decent trick. Key is very good. Well, it's okay. It's very good if he's got any Madness cards. Okay, but he can't equip that this turn. Alright. Alright. Sure, you can hit me for 1. So, what we're going to do here we're going to play Niblis. And I don't think I'm going to attack with the Brute. Because I'm pretty happy trading it off for Brazen Wolves. And we don't need to tap something with Spontaneous Mutation, but he's going to equip the Skeleton Key to the Vampire Cutthroat. And then we can... Well, I guess he doesn't have any good attacks. Okay, oh, he's going to equip it to the Brazen Wolves. That's fine. I don't really see what that does for him. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for me to cast Spontaneous Mutation on anything here. Cryptolith Fragment. Okay, that's kind of scary. Flips into a 1/4, Flying Death Touch. Rise from the Grave is pretty decent. Guess not here. Well, getting that Geist of the Archives could be solid. I think what I would like to do... Well, I don't want to certain death this guy. Well, we've got a lot of taps. We've got all spells in hand. Maybe we do want to certain death this guy. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll tap down Guess the Vampire Cutthroat. Because we're gonna try to actually kill this guy, like, relatively quickly here. Like, Nimbus of Frost is just gonna sort of run this game. If he flips that Cryptolith Fragment, which, we both have to be below 10. So, I mean, putting pressure on him is going to make the Fragment much worse. And then if he does flip it, then hopefully we can keep it tapped enough that it's not going to be a real danger to us. And I really don't mind him, like, equipping Skeleton Key and looting here. It obviously goes poorly for us if he madnesses out, like, Fiery Temper. But I mean, there wasn't... Ooh, what is this? Spiteful Motives. Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's a lot of damage, certainly. But... Alright, so I think what I want to do... I'm sure there's something slightly better for me to Rise from the Grave. But I'm going to Rise from the Grave this Brazen Wolves. And I'll tap down Sanguinary Mage. And I'll attack him for 7. And then if he decides to flip the Fragment, then before he attacks, I'm going to toss a Spontaneous Mutation on his guy and tap down the Fragment. Oh, it triggers on Upkeep, so yes, of course he decided to flip it. Yeah, so I should have just tapped down the Cutthroat. Boy, Nimbus is really good. Wait. Wait. Oh, instant or sorcery spell. You know, that's not very good card design. Totally my fault for not reading the card. But to have the prowess trigger off of anything, and then the triggered ability only trigger off of instant or sorcery spell is questionable. My fault. Absolutely my fault. 100%. Ooh, what is this? New Scrap Mob. Okay. Wow. Boy, we kind of messed this game up, huh? This is what, whenever a player plays a spell? Yikes. Alright, well. Are we just dead here? Pretty close. Yeah. So that thing takes us to 2. Boy. I mean, we'll see what he does. This puts us in a position where if we don't have to block with the Stitchwing Scob and we draw a spell, non-creature spell, then we win. Not awesome odds of that. Pretty gross that we might lose because I cast this Spontaneous Mutation on his turn when I could have just cast it on mine for 1 extra damage. I mean, just speaks poorly of my ability to read the cards. But I still maintain that having 2 very similar triggers that trigger off of very slightly different actions is not great. Yep, that thing was getting through anyways. What's the attack? Oh, right, I'm just dead. Yes, he figured it out. Well, that's tough. I don't know, probably some way I could have played better. Keep that Aurora from flipping until a little bit later. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, he's relatively aggressive. I mean, he went 1-drop, 2-drop. It's just the 2-drop was on turn 3. I like 1/3s against him. They seem quite strong. So maybe get in a Fogwalker. Maybe for this Olivia's Dragoon. Like, I don't really want to take out any of my powerful cards. Not that Exultant Cultist is particularly powerful, but it's good with these boys. Boy, Rise from the Grave really has not performed for me. I'm going to keep it. Like, I have so much self-mill. I can get my Niblis out of the graveyard. It's a spell for Niblis. We'll try it again. As you can see, I have changed clothes since last round. I rushed home from work. We get out of work a little early on Fridays, and I rushed home so I could start playing some Eldritch Moon, and making some content for you guys. But my work clothes are not great lounging around at home clothes, and hopefully I didn't raise my arms, put my hand behind my head too much, because I'm not super interested in you guys seeing my pit stains. I'm going to keep this. Fogwalker is a reasonable blocker for what we've seen out of his deck. Magnifying Glass will let us grind him out. I think this is fine on the play. If this was the 1/3 that mills me for 2, then we'd go 1/3 into magnifying glass, into hopefully rise from the grave on something big. We got Bold Impaler. That is fine. Although not bad against Fogwalker. It's I guess it's possible that we might want to cast Murder on our turn. Possible, but unlikely. I mean, unlikely that we both draw and want to cast Murder. I mean, if he casts an Olivia, and then we untapped and drew Murder, we would be very happy that we played that swamp there. So might as well. No plays. Bold Impaler into nothing, huh? Alright, well, then we're gonna play this Magnifying Glass. And we are going to take 1 on his turn. Like, even when Bold Impaler works out, kind of, because I've got a 1/3 that can't block him if he pumps, it still doesn't. Like, his payoff is he's getting through 1 damage now. Pump it. Pump it. Oh, that's really good for me, right? Well, do I just cast this Wretched Griff? Probably. If we need that Fogwalker, that's what Rise from the Grave is for. Boy, that is a lot of lands. But we'll start passing some mana through Magnifying Glass, I guess. Oh, did I just forget to play a land? Boy, I did. It really hurts when you've got 4 in hand. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm happy to make him use whatever he's got here. Because that actually gives me a play on my next turn. Not an awesome play, just a 5-mana 3/4. Because it's cast trigger. Cast trigger, good and constructed, really kind of obnoxious. Oh, geez. So they just bounce off of each other? Do you have something else? Huh. Alright. I'm very fine with this happening. Boy. Like, clearly, this was a hard thing for him to deal with because he had to use 2 spells and 4 mana to get rid of it, so I'm happy to have another one in play. Not super happy about this 8-land Magnifying Glass situation, but what can you do? Well, what I could have done is played my land on my 4th turn so that I could activate Magnifying Glass and crack the clue. Innkeeper, ooh. Getting in for 1. Oh no, that taps a land. Well, then we couldn't have Magnifying Glass and crack a clue on the same turn. Ooh, Murder. We're doing it. I'm going to stay back. There's no reason to try to erase him here. I'm going to grind this game out. I'm going to magnify some glasses. Find some skin disease. Put some eyes in your skin. I have murder, so I am more than happy. Yeah, likely scenario is he has some weird pump spell, probably spiteful motives, and I would much rather get the Stensia Innkeeper off the battlefield with this murder than the Bold Impaler. I'm gonna respond. I don't know if there's anything in your colors that you want to cast right here. Oh, okay, just pumping the Bold Impaler. That's totally acceptable. This dude's deck is all pump spells. That's pretty sweet. Spell? Liliana's Elite is a 2/2. Do we even want to cast it here? I think I'd rather just Magnifying Glass. Yeah, I'd rather just draw a card, man. 2/2 is just not really going to get it done. We got a plan for this game, and that plan is Magnifying Glass. If I had played the land, that turn that I missed a land, and could make the clue, and, yeah, I'll trade Wretched Griff for his whole turn. Now Liliana's Elite is a 3/3, so it's a real card. That is totally fine with me. Okay, here we go. Well, let's put some monsters in play. What do we get? Kindly Stranger, Grizzled Angler, Rancid Rats. Oh my god. Yeah, Liliana's Elite is pretty gnarly in this deck. He could just murder it. Certainly could have murder. Seems really unlikely from the way that he had to play with the Wretched Griff. But he's had a couple of draw steps since then. Although I did not see murder out of him before. Yeah, Field Creeper is not going to get it done. Ooh, what is this? Bedlam Reveler. Whoa, dope. He did have to discard his Newsgraph mob to do that. Huh. I don't know what he's thinking about. Job's done. Ooh, yeah, that is a nice draw. Well, I'm going to attack with this 7/7. Because why would you have a 7/7 and not attack with it? Clear mistake by not playing Wailing Gold first, of course. But ended up not mattering at all. Island, press for answers, so Wailing Ghoul did not do a ton. I don't really want to play this land. The only reason why it could be good is if we don't cast this Spontaneous Mutation, then we can't. Well, alright, I'm gonna play. I convinced myself. Because we probably will not. Well, there's a really good chance we cast the Spontaneous Mutation. I don't know. Like, we're gonna double block his Bedlam Reveler. He's gonna play some instants that do things and prowess his guy up. We're gonna Spontaneous Mutation. And then we're not gonna be able to crack the clue from Magnifying Glass. Even though we played the land, and it would have been nice to save the land for Stitchwing Scout. Conduit of Storms. So this turns into the 5/4. Okay. That's good. I think basically every single werewolf in this set is a really good card. But that's not that scary here. Like, Liliana's Elite is going to continue to brown him. And we're going to keep getting card advantage off this Magnifying Glass. Spontaneous Mutation is going to keep anything particularly gross from happening to me. I like this spot. See? Magnifying Glass is great. It's amazing. This land, we are not going to play. Oh man, Scour the Laboratory. Yeah, this is happening. Well, I'm going to go ahead and attack first. Ooh, what is this? Transform. Oh, God. That's not going to go super well for him. What's the best way of doing this? I think I'm gonna put the Spontaneous Mutation on the Bedlam Reveler and kill the Conduit. If I had played the land, then I could kill them both. Because I could flash out the Drownyard Behemoth. But okay, Spontaneous Mutation is pretty great. Sure. I mean, I don't particularly want to sacrifice my Lab Brute to put this Drownyard Behemoth into play. I think I'd rather play this Exultant Cultist and call it a turn. Definitely messed up by not playing that land first, but now there's really no reason to play them. Better to hold them for a Stitchwing Scab that gets milled at some point. Certain Death. Jeez. Yeah, this game is pretty well put away. Oops, I forgot. Attack with all creatures. Yep. I could investigate right now, but I don't see any need to. Like, I only have 8 mana, I'd only have 2 left to play something. It's not gonna have that much effect on my next turn. Cryptolith Fragment, that is not good when you're getting beat down. I don't really want to show him the Drownyard Behemoth if I don't have to. we do have another game to go, and Behemoth is one of those super gotcha cards. Impetuous Devils. I'll just take 6 from this. He's not gonna burn me out. I'm gonna draw a card, just because it makes it that much more likely that I can put a creature into my graveyard and kill him this turn. Yeah, I mean, I could have cast the Dryad Behemoth at the end of his turn, but I just don't want to show him that. I don't think it gets us anywhere. He's on no cards. I'm gonna bounce his Cryptolith Fragment when it flips. I guess I should have put a stop on his upkeep so we get something with his Compelling Deterrence. But yeah, it was pretty loose not doing that. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much you could do there. What is this card? Oh, unplayable card. For a second, I saw the 1 black. I thought it might be the -1/+1/+1 trick, and that could be worth having against him. I guess we didn't see too many 1 toughness guys, but like if he's gonna cast tricks, then the untricks might be good against him. Magnifying Glass isn't great against him, but by God, if it didn't pull its weight that game, I'm gonna just keep it in there. He doesn't seem to be that heavy on removal. I like the deck the way it is against him. He seems to be very heavy on combat tricks, so we gotta make sure to keep that in mind, play around what we can. I mean, my usual MO for combat tricks is if it's not going to be a huge, complete, total blowout, like unrecoverable, just run your face into them. Like, they're going to get some value out of them. You just kind of want to dictate when they get cast. Like, if they've got a 3-mana combat trick, forcing them to use that early in the game is really great. Like, if they have to use a 3-mana combat trick on their 5th turn, like, they didn't really get anything out of it. They probably 1-for-1'd you with the combat trick. Like, they skipped their 5th turn to do it. Not skipped, because they probably killed one of your guys, but, you know, you're going to get at least a little bit gotten by most of the combat tricks in this format, so it's just my combat trick aside as we wait for Sarkadian to decide whether or not to play first. I'm going to go ahead and pause this until he decides. Okay, our opponent showed back up. He is on the play. Unfortunately, he only has about 3 minutes left. This is definitely going to be a mulligan, but I am not sure that that's going to determine how this game goes. This hand's not great. We got the scry, though. I'm going to keep this. That is going straight to the bottom. I mean, this is one way we could lose with our opponent having 3 minutes on the clock. He just keeps 7, goes like 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, and we are stuck on black mana for the whole game. Could definitely regret this keep, but going to 5 is... yeah... Like, all we really need to do is draw blue mana. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and press his guy for answers. That puts a card in the graveyard for Spontaneous Mutation. I can play Spontaneous Mutation and crack this clue in the same turn. Keeps this guy from attacking me. Ooh, Hanwar Garrison. That's pretty gross. I am gonna have to just bounce that, I guess? Huh. That's really bad for me. I mean, I can't just take 4 from this coming turn. Yikes. I really need to find a cheap creature to absorb at least one of those attacking humans. Huh. That's... Well, okay, so I can see playing that over the Garrison. Well, if he's not going to make a land drop, playing that over the Garrison is really bad. Alright, playing out this Kindly Stranger is pretty important, because if he does play a land, plays the Garrison, I need to be able to block at least one of the tokens. Because if he's just making, yeah. Like, if he's just making 2 attacking tokens a turn, like, completely uncontested, that's just not going to work out very well for me. And I will Spontaneous Mutation this. I'll just make it pretty easy to trade for it once I get a little bit more power into play. Kill one of these tokens. I mean, we're not in awesome shape. This is a pretty real card. Niblus of Frost is also a pretty real card, but we are not there on mana. I guess I'm just gonna play this. Oh, well, I'm not in a great spot here. Yeah, I mean, his deck is all combat tricks, so there's definitely something to get us here. Or just deal 1,000,000 damage, either way. Yeah, we need a murder or something. Okay. Well, it makes it hard to attack with the Garrison. Yeah, it's probably better to play the Niblus here. Might have to chump the Sanguinary Mage so that I have a target for Rise from the Grave and can tap a guy. But like anything I play here makes it really hard to attack with Hanwar Garrison. So the Geistfield Scarecrow really is not bigger on the ground than the Niblus. So I'm just going to do that. Drawing a cheap spell on my next turn. I guess it would have to be a 1-mana spell, so I used my only one of those. Ooh. That's pretty good. Yep. Alright, just a lot of attacking. How dead am I here? Pretty dead. If I block here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, jeez. So I have to block this. Yeah, okay. I can't... I mean, I kill this for free. I would like to kill this for free, but like, all he has to do is untap, and then this thing kills me. Yep. Murder. Okay. Murder's good. But not enough. Right? I mean, I have to stop this from attacking. Stops... shoot. I mean, Murder and Rise from the Grave are basically the same thing here. I just can't stop all of the tokens. Well, I think he's got me. That was just too aggressive. That Hanwar Garrison in Limited is very real. When you stumble a little bit and they play that, that's gross. That, yeah, I mean, you've got me, so. I'm gonna go ahead and murder this guy. I'm not above using the clock to get them if they've kind of, like, I mean, maybe it's not his fault that he disconnected and stuff, but he's gonna get me, though. 35 seconds to just attack with all creatures. Oh, right. Of course, he can give a guy haste, too, so I'm just super dead here. Yep. Haunted Cloak actually kind of got me this game. I'm dead. Good job. Alright. Well, since this is a Swiss round, luckily we get to keep playing, so I will see you guys next match.